I got a part in for old Franken Yoda here. It's called a PCR Performance Chip Revamp. So my son, who is 17, told me about this. He did some reading, and I said, man, that doesn't ever work. So we're going to find out exactly if it works or not. So it should be pretty easy to install. Just 2 wires. I'm going to hook to my intake air temp sensor, and it's supposed to improve fuel economy and power or whatever. The same old thing you always hear. So this is a 2004 Runner, 3.4 liter. It's got about 260,000 miles on her. I've done some of your basic Toyota 4Runner 3rd gen mods that I'll show you here in a minute. So, and I mean, an actual tune on this truck could do wonders for this thing. So, alright, let's get into it. Alright, so you can just imagine 6 a.m. I'm parked under this little carport here. Lighting is not going to be awesome, but first thing you do when you start messing with air fuel ratio type whatever ECM stuff, computer stuff, disconnect the battery. If you don't, you're going to have issues. You're going to throw codes. Disconnect it for, I usually disconnect it overnight. I'm just going to disconnect it for a few hours before I fire it up and run this thing. I grabbed a handful of wrenches, and I think it's a 10 mil usually for that one, because that's 12. So I'll loosen up my battery and then start installing this thing. Alright, gang, so what we got here, this is your mass airflow sensor right here. So on my truck I did the what do they call it, the silencer delete mod. I took off the silencer. Again, lighting's a little rough, but that giant box that sits there, it's gone. Also, I did the what do they call it, deck mod years ago when I first got my 4Runner, where you cut a hole in the side of your airbox, and then you can install and remove this deck plate, boating marine deck plate. So that's there, but I leave that on there now because I've got a snorkel. And so that air comes directly in here, down through the quarter panel, into the airbox, and then on into the motor. So what I've done is I've went ahead and peeled back. There's a cover that goes on over your wires here for your mass airflow sensor. My cat's about to drive me nuts. I apologize. So just without cutting any wires, trim that, pull those back, and you can lay that back over and put electrical tape over it when you're done. So I can't stand long videos either, so I'm going to try to keep this short. It says here, go on, right here, it says the, right, THA, the yellow with green stripe, and the brown with black stripe. So yellow, green, brown, black. Let's see if we can find yellow, green, brown, black. So yellow, green, and I don't see a brown, black. However, it does say, if you don't see the brown, black, go blue, black. So that would be this one. Okay? So we've identified yellow, green, blue, black. Now with this little super duper Gucci Go Faster Performance mod, it says that polarity doesn't matter. So you just connect the wires. There's 2 black wires coming out of it. Now you don't have to be, you know, a certified mechanic to do this. You just have to be certified, not colorblind, I guess, or have somebody do it for you. I'll probably mount that when I'm done. I'll mount that on this on the airbox. Take some screws and mount it if this thing works. I'm doubting it's going to work, quite honestly. They do offer a refund and warranty and all that, and I'm like, hey, I'm down for whatever. This thing's like 50 bucks, 55 bucks. So I'll go ahead, untwist these wires. I mean, literally, if you can drive a pair of pliers and wire cutters, you can do this job. Too easy. Alright, so there's my 2 wires. They say don't strip them, and I usually don't when using these types of clips. So, what did I say? Yellow green, right here, yellow green. It's going to go there. On these clips, if you've never used them, there's one that goes all the way through, and then there's a capped end. Okay, so 2 in, 1 out. Yellow green. And all we're doing is we're just tapping in to that power line. Like so. Clarity doesn't matter. So I'm going to take the end here, shove it in until it stops. I drank coffee, so I'm a little shaky. Once that's in, I'm feeling good about that. That metal clip on top, take a pair of pliers, mash it down, like so. So that's tapped in. Close that. And then with this blue-black, golly, I am shaking. And I've only had like, I don't know, 6 hours of sleep in the past 30. Alright, and that goes in, blue-black, all the way till it stops. Mash the clip down. Looking good, feeling good about the other one. Boom. Alright, clip that over. Nice little tug on each one. Alright, so we're tapped in. Boom. Too easy. Just installed the PCM Performance Chip Revamp. Now, as far as for operating reasons. So, now basically would just be mounting it. You've got a screw hole in each side, so you can screw it to your airbox. It also has this really sticky tape, and actually for now, that's probably what I'm going to do. And I should clean that off better, but I'm not, because I'm a shade tree mechanic, and that's how I roll. A little spit on the thumb. I have dirt in my mouth because I rubbed it with my thumb. Good enough for me. And then if this thing, I mean, if it's, you know, after I run it, I'm going to hook a, I'll run a, I have a code scanner. So I'll fire it up. I'll check my AFR, my air-fuel ratio, check it for codes, and then I'll take it for a spin and see if it improved my power. As most people know, this engine, 5EZ, 3.4 liter V6 Yoda motors, these are awesome motors. I mean, it's very reliable. So, alright, hang on a second. Now you can offset these clips a little better. I probably should have. But I didn't. So, and the only reason I'm recording this is literally some people don't know how to operate electrical tape. So, I'm going to throw electrical tape around this whole thing. And then, alright. Good enough for government work. Alright, so we're all taped up. The Super Duper Turbo Chip is, I put that sticky stuff, whatever, two-sided mucky nut tape, Gorilla Tape. Alright, so we shall see how this turns out. Like I said, quite honestly, I'm not a big believer in this stuff. A lot of people sell whatever performance enhancing engine blah blah blahs, but unless you really get an honest to God tune from, like EQTech. So on my car, it's got an up rev tune. Quite honestly, that's the only way to really get anything out of them. And you can tune anything. You can buy a brand new vehicle off the lot today, go get it tuned, and you'll see a boost in performance. But due to U.S. regulatory blah 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 laws and whatever, cars manufactured outside the U.S. or in the U.S., but they all have to be standardized for emissions and whatever. So, but any vehicle can be tuned. Back before fuel injection, you had carbureted motors. So you adjust your carb. You can tweak your ignition and your timing. Not on this stuff with the ECM, and it's easier now, really, with a computer. You just go in there and all right. So I will hook it up later. We'll run it, check it for codes, drive it, and we'll see if this thing actually works. All right, later. All right, so got it all hooked back up. Batteries hooked up and everything. So got my ODB2 reader in there. I use this app called Torque. I use it on my Z, and I've never used it on this truck. That's about it. So I set up the profile. Let's see what it reads. It's showing that it's connecting. Let me change profiles to the vehicle profile. Frank and Yoda. Okay, profile loading, reconnected. And we will see how this works out. Get some juice. Since I disconnected my battery, everything's gonna take a minute to reset, to include the clock. All right, here we go. We're gonna fire it up. It's idling high. Of course, I haven't started it. It's been. Let's see if it's starting any codes. It's no lights are coming up. Tap here to scan for faults. Yeah, so I went on vacation and just got back. So my truck has not been started in probably 2 weeks. I assume it's going to idle down, but it's no faults. That's good. It smells funny and it's running weird. It's almost like it's running a little rich, maybe. RPMs are showing, it's tracking on the tach about 1367. Give it a little gas and see what we got. Forward because my wife is working and her office is right there, and since I'm messing with my toys, I don't want to disturb her. Yeah, this app is pretty cool. It's got a lot of data. Whoa. Okay, I've had this truck for a long time and I know my truck. I'm thinking, you know, I always take in consideration placebo effect. It sounds like it's revving faster, for sure. Everything's checking out, man. Not throwing any codes. Yeah. So far, so good. I'll go drop the hood and we'll take it for a spin. Stand by. Let's see. Gotta be placebo. I really don't believe in these chips. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, so let me close the hood. Drive it up the road a second. There's no way. I'm saying, man, I'm a huge skeptic of, I mean, the power programmers and all that stuff on diesel engines. Yeah, I mean they work well, and I believe in those. I believe in tuning and tweaking stuff, but dude, this is a 2000 4Runner. I don't know, man. I'm a skeptic. So I'll just pull it up here, up my driveway. And usually, if it's gonna throw a code, yeah, you need to drive it before it'll start throwing any codes. Just idling it usually won't do it. That was, so my truck, I mean, it's lifted. I'm sitting on 35s, 3-inch suspension lift, 2-inch body lift. I've got DOM bumper. I think they're DOM if I remember right. But I've got bumpers, front, rear, and rock sliders. So I mean, you got a lot of weight. I got all my gear in the back. Oh. Whoa, baby. That freaking pulled. That was, wow, man. It's going to take a few days for me to really become a believer of this. I'm really struggling not to think that it's placebo effect. And the fuel economy, that'll really be, that'll tell me something as well. I mean, if it improves my fuel economy. I mean, when you start lifting stuff, you're not, and people say, well, I get such crappy fuel economy. Dude, you've totally changed the dynamics of the vehicle. I mean, it's not supposed to be that way. Yeah, that throttle response is quicker. Wow. All right. Yeah, something's going on. It's now that the engine's warming up. She's not usually that spunky. I mean, she's a hog. So I'll start from a dead stop. Let's see what we got here. Alright. This may have done something. Tell you what, I like that takeoff. Huh. Well, like I said, I'm gonna have to check my fuel economy. I'm feeling like there's a little bit more throttle response. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to give it an accurate yay or nay at this time. So, because you know, people start taking protein powder and they think they're freaking getting stronger all of a sudden. It doesn't really work like that. So, we'll, like I said, I'll run it. You know what? I'll post a review video in maybe a month or so, and you know, give it some time to the engine to learn, and or the computer to learn, and you know, collect some data essentially, because it's too soon to tell. But I think Franken Yoda's liking it though. So 3-inch suspension, 2-inch body, 35 11 and a halfs, if I remember right. They are the actual tire size, it's metric. Let's see, 295 75 R16. So you can do the numbers. I got total chaos, upper control arms. I mean, I've done a lot to this truck, and this truck has been beat up. So that's it. All right.